teacher tries, but sometimes you are even unable to make the child catch up. Unashindwa. You cannot, like if you have 50 children, maybe 2 or 3 are special, and you have a syllabus to cover. You see, they have to be left behind, whether you want or not.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Kemani.
I'm fine, Sophia, and welcome to our school.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that you've welcomed us with very open hands. And we are all on a mission of enabling children to be the best versions of themselves from a very young age. And from our earlier conversation, I understand you've been in this school for quite some time. You would love to tell us more about that?
Yeah, I've been here for quite a long time, and our school has really been performing well, but we have had some difficulties because at least the mean score is high, but at least you see some pupils who have not performed well. So if you can make it maybe have 100%, you'll be glad.
Amazing, thank you. What do you think is the main influence on the performance of these pupils? Why do some of them struggle? What is their family dynamics or their mental capacity to perform?
Some don't perform because they have mental capacities. Some have special cases. You try to deal with them, and you see they are not catching up like other children. Others are affected by social problems in life, like maybe having parents who are not very concerned with them, especially if they are alcoholics or if they have a distance at home. Some will not perform well because of influence from other people, but few.
Oh, wow. So you actually feel that as a teacher, all the things that happen back at home, when the children come to school, you feel that burden and you feel the distress in the children.
Yes.
And as a teacher, does that mean that is your problem? You're the one who needs to handle it. There's no one else who comes to support.
Yes, as a teacher, you have to handle everything because at the end of the day, you teach very well, unaona. Then you see, some people don't even have an idea. You add and you get to do research. Why this child not interested with their progress? And you come to realize they have a social problem at home.
Imagine if we had a case scenario where one of the classrooms had a therapist come in and just sit behind the class and observe the children behavior. And then after the class, they have sessions with some children who they feel they need the support. How do you think that would influence your life as a teacher differently?
So the influence and it will even improve the performance because at the end of the day, a teacher may use a lot of time trying to solve this problem, listening to the child instead of even marking the other people's books or doing other work or preparing yourself, preparing for tomorrow's lessons. So you'll be happy if you have therapists. It can be of great help to our school.
Great. And what else do you think, if it were up to you, for the many years you've been through the school system, what do you feel can be another solution that can be there to support the teachers from the many years you've been observing, from where the source of the problem is and what can be the solution?
Now, the source of the problem maybe what is happening in the country, like alcoholism, misuse of drugs, maybe by parents, social life, even separations. You may see a child who has been left with relatives and the child is badly affected. So the source of the problem is the family setups.
Wow. And that is very deep. And I think that is where we need a therapist.
Yes.
Because if they can be able to support on their family setup issues, it means the children can get to attend classes with a very sober mind, because that is the problem. You told me earlier that sometimes you will be teaching and a child is just out of the class. They're in the classroom, but their mind is wandering. And when you call their name, they're actually in a moment of shock because they were way off the current class that was ongoing. So when that happens, it means as the teacher, when you're done with the teaching of that specific class, you need to allocate a specific time again to see this child.
Yes.
But you are a teacher, your role is to teach. So it means you have to step in and be a therapist for this moment with minimum experience.
Oh,
wow.
And you may do more harm than good because
you don't even know where to start.
You just tell God to help you.
Yeah. You're our heroes. You do a lot
Use
of work.
your brain, you see how you can solve the problem, but sometimes it's very difficult. Because if you call a parent, sometimes the parent feel offended. Some don't even turn up. They are not interested.
So it becomes a new problem as a teacher.
He asks you, the child is in school, do what is best for the child. Leave me alone. What do you do?
The parents say that to you?
Yes. If they don't turn up, and they have no interest.
And so this means there are actually more problems at home than even what we can see with the children being in class.
Yes. The children are encountering many problems at home, and that affects their performance. That is what we have learned. If you compare that child with another child who has come from a home without problems, they cannot perform the same.
And speaking about children, we also have very special children. We had talked about them. Like now we have cases of dyslexia where a child is very smart actually. They might be a genius, but how they study, it's different. It's a different way than the normal. And we have such children in this school. How is that for a teacher handling 50 children in the same class and with this kind of a pupil that needs a lot of special care and attention to make sure they are also performing?
A teacher tries, but sometimes you are even unable to make the child catch up. You cannot, like if you have 50 children, maybe 2 or 3 are special, and you have a syllabus to cover. You see, they have to be left behind, whether you want or not.
What do you think if we had a way to get this special kid in every class to have a special teacher? Like now we have a teacher who focuses on dyslexia children and comes to support them because they have a special way of learning. Do you think that would be of great help to your school?
Yes, it would be a great help.
And that would mean you can focus on the syllabus with the other children. And also we had talked about the therapist. So if there's a therapist, it means the children are coming to class with less distress and they can get to focus on the current syllabus.
Yes.
At the current moment, who would you say is supportive? Like, do you feel like the government is supportive of the current process, or do you have just to figure it out by yourself when supporting such special children?
We can say the government is supporting where they can, because they say a teacher is everything to the child. And again, they have opened special schools. If the parents are concerned, they can. But the level of their problem matters, because you cannot take such a child to Karatina, because there you find other children with more complicated cases.
Actually, we're just from talking with my sister. My sister, I think, is also dyslexic. And what happened back then in the early 2000s is she couldn't study because she stayed in class and she couldn't understand. And so what happened is she was taken to Karatina, the school we just talked about. And now there, she found children who could not even move around. So she started to be their teacher. She's the one who was teaching them 1, 2, 3 and everything else. So it means we are still way behind. If up to date, I didn't expect you to mention Karatina. So you mean over 20 years later, it's still the school, it's the only special school we have in this area. Yeah,
But they have opened the special units. Only that, the parents find it difficult to take children there. They are not, some of them are not good in schools. They are far away. But initially they had said they will start a special unit, but up to now, it's not functioning.
Wow, I have a big dream of making a change in that, and I hope we can do it. We see how we can have schools being built to support these special children in such a manner that they don't have to be away from their parents. If we can have like a community where the parents can get to live there and they get jobs as their children are also getting to study in this special boarding environment, I think it can be very, very crucial. And hopefully it can be very collaborative with the existing school. So like now here where we are, we can have that kind of a community set up to support such children.
Yes.
What do you think?
It can be better because, specialists are good because the children have different mental problems. And as a teacher, you may fail to identify. You try to help that child, unaona no success. You are not successful. So a specialist is better.
Thank you. Do you feel like there's anything else we can add on to this that would be there to support yourself as a teacher and actually the deputy head, as well as the rest of the teachers and the children? What do you feel can be another way to support the process?
Just giving the pupils hope and encouraging them to read. Maybe you would be kind to bring a few library books.
Wow, I love that.
Telling them to believe in themselves and the future belongs to them.
As you're winding up, that is actually a conversation that is very top of mind for me and very, very close to my heart. There are cards of affirmation that go like, I am loved, I belong, I am strong, I am successful, I am loved. So when children get to see that every day, they can get to heal themselves from all the things that they are undergoing back at their homes. So I think it's very powerful what you just shared, that there's so much encouragement we can offer children, and I will definitely be there to support that in the ways I can. And you talked about a library that will come to fruition. I love reading books a lot. So hearing you say about a library, you mean there's no library at all in this school?
We have some books, for example, now the ones which are being discarded, we can use them, but
yeah,
you see they are meant to be for classwork. They can read stories, but we don't have many storybooks.
Okay.
For both languages, Swahili and English.
So the level of exposure is very, very limited.
Yeah.
Even if someone is very curious and wants to grow their mindset, they're very limited because of the books available. I am positive we will change that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you too, Mrs. Kimani. I really appreciate this session. Maybe you might have some closing remark, anything that you feel you might not have covered in the session that is very important to you.
Maybe I can just thank you for considering our school, and I hope for the best from you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm also very humbled by your warm welcome. I feel loved already in this school, and the children are so amazing. I feel like going back to the class and just staying with them for some time to observe how they get to learn. And I believe we can all win. I believe the system can change. And as long as I am still here, I will do my best that I can to see that we get to be better.
Okay,
Thank you.
we'll be very honored to have you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate this session. I wish you the very best until we see each other next time, because I'm sure we'll be back with very good news.
Okay,
Yes.
we'll be very happy.
Thank you so much.